Yo, 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 pa pa pa. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Today is the 155th episode. Yep, you like it, and I love it. Of the In Your Face show. And I'm here with my main man, you've seen him already, but I'm here to give him his own spotlight, Mr. Randy B. Haskins. Take it away, my brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me back. This is a great opportunity. I look forward to our conversation.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's all love, brother. It's all love. You know what I mean? It's all love. Just want to give you all the love I can give you, man. All the spotlight. You deserve a spotlight for your story, and we're here to allow you to tell your story without any interruptions, without any, you know, bloomers. So, hey, ready to get down with the get down?
I'm ready. I am ready.
Oh, wait, already. Take it away with the first question, man. So what is and was your biggest challenge you have ever faced, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Uh, Biggest challenge I've ever faced. Uh, I think it was the death of my first wife, and how my daughter handled it, and
Okay.
trying to navigate that experience with my daughter and keeping her focused through life as a she was 14 when her mother died, um, and she's 27, 28 now. So it was just a rough go after that, trying to navigate that with her and keep her focused. And that was probably the toughest challenge I've had in my life. And
Right.
um, making a promise to her in my life, when her mother died, I told her that I would not allow her to mourn two parents. Um, Kept me, it lit a fire under me that uh, helped me navigate through all that and keep going to this day. To always be there for her and help guide her through life, help her understand life, and most of it all has to do with my training. The fact that my training was so rough coming up through my life, in the martial sciences, that it taught me to conquer any obstacle in front of me, and that being the biggest obstacle, it helped me get through that.
Mm-hmm. So, going through that trauma, and going through that situation, you know, how did that help you grow as a person, as a man, and as a father?
Um, Everything in life, I don't look at them as real negative experiences. It's cliche to say, but I look at it's all learning experiences. So it just taught me, uh, helped me understand that no matter what happens in life, no matter who's around you, you ultimately pretty much have to rely on yourself and be self-sufficient in that respect as a man. Um, because it's my job to protect my daughter and guide my daughter and whatever, my fiance, help her understand life and get through life, and provide for them, and so it just made me stronger. It made me more focused, more ready, you know, to be there,
Right.
to be ever present in their lives, and make sure that I'm that guiding light and that protector.
Right. 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 You know that like every time I hear somebody speak about fatherhood, it makes me want to be a father all the more. You know what I mean? It makes me want to just go through a wall for children or for people that I love. You know what I mean? And seeing that you're a great father and a great person, you know what I mean? That really is commendable. Really commendable that you're a protector, and not all fathers are like that. You know what I mean? Not all fathers are understandable and really grown into the men that they want to need to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a challenge. It's rough, especially this day and age with all these challenges and different things going on, with all this politics that's affecting families, and it's insane. But
Right, man.
again, one step at a time, focused,
Hell
and
yeah, man.
you know,
What has been your most memorable experience with during life and during learning your art and learning different things of your art that pertains to your art and all that stuff?
the most memorable experience when it comes to my training, my martial education, was my pilgrimage to Japan. I took a
Mm.
pilgrimage to Tokyo, Japan, and did some training and fought in a tournament out there in 1996. And I think everyone who studies the martial arts, who studies an Okinawan or Japanese system, uh, should take that pilgrimage. Very important pilgrimage to understand your art, to understand yourself. You know, that was probably um, the most memorable moment, was that pilgrimage.
Right, 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 right. So during that pilgrimage, was there any other places that really, stood out to you that really was like, okay, I gotta really, visit more places like this,
No, no, just Japan. I needed to get out there and see what was out there, experience the culture, experience the arts from the motherland. You know, um, really, it would be Okinawa. That it, the next place that I will probably go sometime in my life will be Okinawa. I never made it over there while I was in Japan, um, but I went to mainland Japan, and you know, I did a lot of fighting while I was there. I did a lot of training, and just great experience. Seeing it all. I went to the Aikido Hambu Dojo. I went to Kyokushin Hambu Dojo. I went to the Kodokan, which is the Hambu for judo in Japan. Uh, I trained at a sports complex that housed a bunch of different things. I saw uh, Kyudo, the way of the bow, performed traditionally from horseback. Um, I experienced a lot while I was out there. It was pretty interesting. Pretty
That's
interesting.
awesome. Very awesome, man. I wish I can, I can't wait to travel, do a lot of traveling, you know what I'm saying, and get in touch with what I'm doing, what I've been doing and what I want to do, you know what I'm saying? And this makes me want to travel even more to see the world.
Yeah,
Like, what was the experience? How did it feel to be able to travel to those places? And
I
what
was
was the experience like?
was a great experience. You know, you're like a 13, 14 hour flight to Japan, 2.5 hours to Chicago, and then another, say, 13 from Chicago to Japan. Um, Narita Airport in Tokyo. Um, and then just landing and walking through that huge airport and going through the streets of Shinjuku and Sudobashi and all those different areas is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal experience, you know. Passing the Tokyo Dome and uh, being at the Kodokan, just beautiful experience. Meeting the people, um, experiencing the cuisine, the culture, uh, geeing up and getting down and dirty with the locals and experiencing, exchanging martial ideas, and it's just there's nothing better, nothing better, you know.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And during your time of learning your art and really learning the education of it, was it a very was it a hard was it a struggle learning it, or was it a easy, you learned everything quick, quick, quick?
No, I took to it real well, um, but back in the days when I was training, I started in 1976, and it was different. There was no YouTube. It was just straight hard training. Um, if you needed or if you wanted to talk to someone about the martial arts, you had to go visit some dojo, meet an instructor in person, or read a book or something like that. You know, it was just real rough and tumble training, as opposed to now in this liberal society where everybody's soft. It's just a different world now, um, where if 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 kids were trained the way that I was trained when I was younger, um, some instructor would be brought up on abuse charges. You know, it's a
Damn.
different world now. It's a totally different world. People complain that I'm too rough when I teach or when I train and all these other things, but um, and I express to them, I wish I can compress my training into a 10-minute video and have them watch it. I said they will never ever complain again if they watch that. They will never complain saying that I'm too rough if they watch that. So it's just a different world now. Totally different world. It I for whatever reason that subject or the martial sciences really I gravitated towards it and it accepted me. It it became a part of me. It wasn't hard. It was just rough, you know.
Mm.
But I took to it real well, more than anything else in my life.
Is this okay? Is this type of art, right? Is this a art for like younger people to that like for you to learn at a younger age than for you to learn and grow into it, or is this for all ages, for like a person like say like he's 30 years old or 40 years old and he's just learning from there? Is that for all ages or just
It as far as I go when it comes to my teaching, I don't train kids. The youngest I have right now is a 15-year-old, only because he was being bullied, and I got contacted by my neighbor contacted me and told me about a friend of hers or a coworker whose son was having problems. He was being bullied, and if I knew some place that would take him because they knew I didn't train kids, but I felt an obligation to give it him an opportunity to try to train here because of the fact that my dojo is not a commercial dojo and I don't compromise my training for a dollar. Um, my dojo is extremely rough. And there's a method to the madness. So I don't train kids because of that, but I accepted him, and we'll see if he can weather the storm. Because most adults can't weather the storm in here. But so as far as me, I don't train kids. When I was coming up, my one of my I have four instructors. The one that I was coming up under in this era or that in that era, um, he specializes in training kids, um, but he trains adults as well. And it's just it depends on the school, the instructor, and their mode, and what they desire. If they're into sports, if they're teaching a sport art, if they're teaching for self defense, if it's many different uh, reasons why someone does or doesn't. But when I was coming up, I trained with mostly adults, you know, um, and I now don't train kids at all.
Hmm. Well, hey, not everything is not for everybody. You know what I mean? Hey, it's cool. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yep.
Everything is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you know, so what is the most rewarding aspect of your art or of learning martial arts and mixed martial arts? What is the rewarding aspect of it?
Back a long time ago, the instructors say like Gichin Funakoshi or Dr. Jigoro Kano, the founder of judo, Gichin Funakoshi, the father of modern karate, founder of Shotokan movement. They were sickly children who grew to be strong young men as a result of their martial education. Flash forward to the 50s, 60s, 70s, martial arts was destroying people's bodies. My question was why? Why is it that back in 16th century, 17th century Japan, Okinawa, these people were becoming strong young men from their training, and then flash forward as it became Americanized, people were more destroying their bodies from their training. So I dove deep into that, uh, researching that, and I produced a curriculum that reflected more benefit to the body than detriment. Oh, can you see me?
I can see you.
For some reason, my screen just went black. There we go. Um, More detriment. Uh, so the best, the benefit I got is at 54 years old, which I'm about to be in a couple of days. Um, I'm probably in best shape of my life. My body is only getting stronger from my training. It's only gotten stronger. Excuse me. Also, the confidence that my training has given me to navigate a career in corrections, 22-year career in corrections, um, in the most isolated, violent society in the world, in the U.S. Penal Institution, um, navigating that career with no problems. Also, bounty hunting, bouncing, bodyguarding, doing all that type of work. The confidence it has given me, the skill it has given me, the information it has given me, the opportunity to travel like it has, teaching seminars all over the place, um, the books I've written as a result um, from my training, all the different books I've written. Um, there's just so much, you know. The house I live in is a direct result of my martial education. and me teaching and making money and being able to purchase my house and just everything. This is
Mm.
the second house that I've owned as a result of my martial education. My dojo is in my house. I built it in my house. Um, just everything about me is my art. So just everything benefited.
Mm.
I benefited from that in every aspect of my life.
Okay, okay. So, question: what are some of the foods that keep you intact and in shape to get stronger while learning your art, while performing your art?
Uh, we juice a lot, um, but eating food in this country is detrimental to anybody's health. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything we eat is illegal in other countries,
Mm.
so it doesn't matter if it says organic or not. If you're not growing it yourself, you're probably being poisoned by this country because their mission is to kill us off. So we juice a lot. I fast a lot. Um, and when I do eat, it's I eat some fish. I eat some, I eat steaks and stuff like that. But it's, that's it's nothing special. More. It's all American food. It's all the food that we buy here. It's even if you grow something in your soil, there's stuff in the soil. You know what I'm saying? They're
Right,
poisoning.
right,
They're poisoning us every way possible. You know.
right. Mm.
So
Right.
I keep it as clean as I possibly can.
True that. True that. Very understandable. Very understandable. So, like, for the people that you're training, do you have like people that that you basically put out like a nutrition thing out for, or do you let them just do what they want to do when it comes to the eating part?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't. My mission is to offer them information and teach them how to use their bodies in an efficient manner. Um, whatever they put in for fuel is more on them. But we talk about it, but I'm not a stickler for diets and things like that. It's they, a person has to decide what type of life they want to lead. You know, what what
Right.
what they want to put in their bodies and things. But the information that they get from me will be sound. You know, that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's very, very, very true. Very true. Okay, what is the most important lesson you have learned while learning your art and learning your art and your mixed martial arts and everything? What is the most important lesson you've learned?
Most important lesson I've learned is anything you do through anything you do within the martial sciences has to be looked through a lens. If you're speaking on Goshin Jitsu or self protection arts focused through that lens, you have to look through it through an analytical perspective, and it has to make sense. A lot of things that people are doing within the martial sciences, within say karate circles, really doesn't make sense. They're just doing it out of a false idea of what tradition is. Um, so that's one of the most important lessons, just uh, that I've learned. You have to focus your lessons through a lens of common sense,
Mm.
and realism, um, and be able to discern between a sport and a martial sport and a martial strategy. There's a very big difference between the martial sport and the martial strategy.
Mm. So how many, okay, so when you go through Japan, and is the martial arts different from the Western part of it? Like, is it different from Japan to Western? Like, what are the differences?
Well, in the East, over in Okinawa and Japan, Okinawan karate is more self protection focused, so it's totally different than it is in mainland Japan. Mainland Japan, Tokyo, and Japan itself, it's more sport oriented, whereas Okinawa is more self defense oriented, and there's a clear distinction or difference between the two.
Mm.
As it comes out and it goes to Korea and then filters out through everywhere else, um, up into the United States and this and that. It's it's the outlook of it or the approach of it is more focused through what people believe something to be as opposed to what it should be. Um, and karate is not too different from Japan to mainland karate or from United States karate. Not too different, but because a lot of people from Japan were sent around the world uh, to establish branches of their organizations, their respective organizations in other parts of the world. So it's really not too different, but the approach sometimes doesn't make sense universally. Um,
Right.
it becomes if, and what I mean by that is, and this might be getting a little too deep, but if your art promotes a war of attrition, it's not a martial strategy, it's a sport. It's a martial
Mm.
sport. It's presented as a martial sport. A war of attrition means where two people get together and wear each other down. You know, that's a martial sport mentality. That's not a martial strategy. Martial strategy approaches uh, combat or addressing violence through intelligence and through minimal effort but maximum effect type mentality, where martial sports are more of a clash and a war of attrition, and the person with the best cardio usually wins.
Mm.
You don't even have to have good technique, just great cardio, and you usually win.
That's that's the best part about it, man. Like, have you ever thought about getting into becoming a stuntman when you were younger, or do you like
No,
stuntman for movies and stuff like that?
no, no, no. That wasn't my thing. If I were to be an actor, I'm very much into. Uh, I'd be like a Jackie Chan type guy. I'm into the comedy type thing when it comes to,
Uh,
I'd be that type of guy. Um, and as far as being a stunt, nah, there was never any desire for me to do that.
ah, man. So, have you? Do you? Are you basically? Do you work with swords and all that stuff as well, or do you
Yes.
still just focus? Okay, all right. So, when it comes to swordsman, becoming a swordsman, what is the most easiest part of it, and what is the most difficultest part of becoming a swordsman, a master swordsman?
Um, well, you got to understand, I have a background in Aikijujutsu, and Aikijujutsu is an old samurai combat technique, and it's done. You learn sword technique, and then you take the sword out your hand and you apply the same techniques without the sword in your hand, and they become joint manipulation techniques. Um,
Mm,
so ideally, you're learning how to use yourself when you have the sword. You know, um, so it's not a difficult thing. It's just a very uh, methodical thing.
okay.
Not a difficult thing, just very methodical.
okay, when a person is just now learning it or just taking it on, do you be are you a type of instructor that's very patient with your students, or you instructor that they have to get the curriculum quick?
No, 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 no. There's no time limit for anybody. Everybody's different. If I have three students, each one is gonna absorb information at their pace. So it might take somebody 10 years to achieve whatever rank, um, or level of proficiency, and it might take the next person 15 years. It might take the third person 3 years. There's no time limit for anything or time expectation. We just train until you know we just train, and whatever happens happens. You know.
Right. True that, true that. That's a very awesome answer. You know. Okay, how do you stay focused and motivated?
The information motivates me. I'm a self-motivated type person. Just the information, just it intrigues me. Uh, the more I learn, the more I realize there's so much more out there, because every day I have an aha moment. You know, um, I'll think about things that I learned 30 years ago, and it'll finally resonate with me now. So it's just a constant uh, realization of the information that really, really keeps me motivated to keep going, to see how deep this well goes. You know,
Mm. So do you feel like you're a hilarious person, like a comedy type of person, or like a serious comedy laughing type of person? Like, what do you consider yourself to be?
I love to laugh. Um, I love to laugh. Depends on the environment as well. I'm always laughing and joking. To be honest with you, I'm always laughing and joking. Even when I'm bouncing in bars or doing whatever, even when I'm dealing with a threat, I make jokes to try to uh, mellow out the situation. Um, to give people opportunities. To back out. Constantly turn everything into a joke, and if it goes physical from there, then it is what it is. You know. But yeah, I laugh and joke a lot. Even when I worked in the jail, constantly we laugh and joke all day. You know,
True,
all
true, true. Wow, man. So about being a correctional officer, what was the one of the most hardest parts of like being a correction officer?
dealing with administration. Administration is horrible. They make your job 30 times harder than it has to be. The administrative aspect of it. Um, Inmates are inmates. You expect the things that they do and say. But to have people who are supposed to be there to guide you and run the facility to be attacking you is something that was unexpected. But after a while, you start to realize about what it is about the atmosphere. Um, the thing about it being a line officer in that environment is you have the inmates against you because they hate anybody with a badge. You have other officers around you that are against you because they're suck pumps and they want to get ahead, even if it's stepping on you to get ahead. And then you have administration that's against you if you're not a suck pump. So it was just a rough atmosphere because of that. You know, um,
Wow.
but being an unbreakable type person, it really didn't phase me. I navigated my career. I retired, and it is what it is. And
True that, true that.
the wheel still keeps going around. Suck pumps are there, administration's still there, and the inmates are still there.
Wow, man. Like, inmates gonna be there for some of them gonna be there for the rest of their life. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
And
You know, but
so will the suck punk dynamic, and so will bad administrations. It'll always be there. You
oh
know,
man. So what is the most calming part of being a correction officer? Understanding, like, yeah, what is the most calming part of it?
knowing there's a light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that you only got to do 20 years and then you can retire and they got to pay you for the rest of your life. And then you can
Mm.
have time. You have nothing but time to do whatever else you want. Right now, I sit home, I write my books, and I teach martial arts all day, every day, and I still get paid from that jail for the rest of my life.
Damn,
And I got nothing but time to do other things to make more money on top of that money. You know what I mean?
damn.
That's the best part. Is the light at the end of the tunnel.
See, yeah, man. Hey, but don't you have to be thick-skinned to work in that environment, in that field?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing about that environment is it gives you a greater appreciation for those around you that actually love you and show you it through their actions. It gives you a greater appreciation for those type of people, and it helps you understand life that much better. Helps you navigate through this screwed up world that much better because you understand how screwed up the world actually is because of the stuff you actually see in that environment. You know,
Wow.
it helps you be able to protect those that you love that much better because of you being in that environment. So that's that. Those are pluses from that environment, you know, and
Right, right.
it gives you a chance to see people from all angles, you know, from murderers and rapists and this and that, drug dealers on one side, and then just people that are supposed to be, you know, your coworkers who are pieces of shit, you know, and then some that are good, and then administration. You get to see it from every angle and understand people as a whole.
Right, right.
So and take that information into the rest of your life and help like my daughter, help her understand and navigate through life, teaching her about people. You
True
know,
that. True that. You know, like, what are some of the personalities that you've had to deal with when it comes to mixed martial arts and being a correction officer?
oh, the list goes on. Like I said, there's so many. I mean, people that hurt people, people that for nothing but financial gain or whatever it is. And then there's you know um, within the martial world, um, people who are uh, people who are like there's a lot of people in this world like in the martial world who there's real uh, fighters, and then who there's people who go out and will buy a bunch of trophies and make up placards on the trophies as if they won them and then set them up in their schools. You know what I'm saying? They go to trophy shops and have them make trophies and then they put them in their schools and as if they actually won them and they never did. There's those types of people. Then there's types of people who actually went out and fought and won trophies or belts and this and that. It's the jail is a microcosm of the world. The martial science landscape is a microcosm of the world. There's all different types in the world. There's all different types in prison. There's all different types in the martial community. There's all different types in the entertainment community. It just every community has these types in it. You know what I mean? Frauds, and then you have solid people. So those are
I
the
think
types of those are the types of people you deal with in any arena.
Wow, man. Was you ever had to? Would you ever? All right, let me get my question. Had you ever had to be always alert when it comes to
Always,
a lot of the? Okay,
always, always.
true. Like, and that's why it's like, to be honest, you never could take your eyes off of certain stuff, of things that, because you never know what can happen during those things, during those times. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I very much understand, because living out in the hood and all that stuff, you got to keep your eyes peeled. You got to keep your eyes
Yep.
open.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what can happen. You get hit by a stray bullet, or you get hit by a car, one way or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Just like in prison, you get shanked, or you could get shit thrown in your face, bleach thrown in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. Like,
Constant.
what is, huh?
Constant. Yep. I got inmates spit in my face, spit in my mouth. I've had piss thrown at me. I've had shit thrown at me. Uh, I've disarmed inmates with shanks. Um, who stabbed my coworkers and tried to get me. You name it. I've had it done and I've dealt with it.
So, like, what do you do with the people that throws the shit and the spit and all that stuff? How do you handle those situations?
Depending on
How
how
do you handle
severe,
conflict?
huh?
How do you handle the conflict of all that stuff?
Well, we have within jail you have segregation, which is a jail inside the jail. You have general population, then you have segregation. So when they act up in general population, doing things like that, you bring them to segregation. If they're already in segregation, when they do stuff like that, you got to just give them more time in segregation, or ship them out the facility to another facility. You know,
Wow,
so it's yeah,
wow, man. Like, because I know that it would be times where where you got so pissed off where you just had to, you know, put a couple prisoners down. It had to have been, because it's no way, you know, where you couldn't just hold your peace. You know what I'm saying?
when you first get that job, um, things piss you off. After a while, you start to realize that it's a job. You can't get pissed off at it because inmates are going to be inmates and they hate everybody with a badge. So it just becomes just a normal part of the job and you stop taking things personal. It's just part of the job. So in the beginning years, yeah, I would be taken aback and get kind of irritated. But after a while, I realized that it's just part of the job and I'm not here. I wasn't there to fight. Uh, I'm not there to punish because they're already punished by being there. That was their punishment by being put in there. So it's not my job to punish them. I just got to do a job and keep it moving. So I really didn't take anything real personal after a while, you know.
Mm. So what are the struggle, not the struggles, but the hardest part of being a bouncer?
Uh, it's really not a hard part per se, but um, just dealing with people who don't understand the dynamic. First of all, it's a lot of young people coming out and going. It's young people that go out and drink all the time every weekend, and helping them to understand that they really haven't been through anything in life, and you know, I'm this old for a reason. You know what I mean? I made it
Okay.
this long in life. Uh, that there's nothing they're actually going to do to me that that I haven't somebody hasn't tried before, and they're drinking, they're
Mm.
drunk, they're drinking. Why would they want to fight while they're drunk? I don't drink, so I'm in the bar, I'm completely sober. they've been drinking the whole night, and then they, every once in a while they want to fight, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why don't you? I tell them, listen, just come back tomorrow if you want to fight me. Come back before you get drunk, and we can fight. Before you start drinking. How about that? But tonight it's not the night. Let's not do this. It's just stuff like that. Navigating that stuff, the little attitudes that come about because of the alcohol, the beer muscles, and it's just ridiculous. It's not hard. It's just ridiculous.
Right. I feel you, man. I feel you. Like I, you know, a lot of guys look at you and see like they feel like they think they could beat you by your size.
All the time.
Or
I'm the oldest guy in the bar. Okay, all the owners of the bar are younger than me. I'm the oldest bouncer. I'm the oldest person in the bar. Okay. As far as staff goes, um, my stepson, I uh, I hired him to work in the bar with me. He's the smallest bouncer we have in the bar. He's pretty slim. He's one of my black belts. I trained him since he was 6 years old, and he's one of my black belts. He achieved his black belt from me, um, and they can't get through him. So I don't know why they think we just dealt with this last weekend with my son is probably my height. I'm 6'8", 6'9", 6'8" maybe. Excuse me, 5'8". Um, and we dealt with a guy who had to be about 6'3", 230 pounds. And my son dealt with him. My son threw him across the parking lot like it was nothing. You know what I mean? So
damn.
yeah,
Oh shit. That's this. Whew. He that
yeah.
strong?
It's not that he's that strong. He's that skilled.
Oh
Like I
shit.
said, I've trained him since he was 6 years old. His whole life, since he was 6 years old, he's only trained under adults. He's trained with me and my adult students.
Oh man. Like
And so he's just that skilled at what he does. You know,
damn. Yeah. Woo. Like, do you ever feel like you could take your instructors?
no,
Never. Like, oh
no,
wow, wow, man. Hey, shit. You always get that, like, cause I could imagine you always having to, you know, calm or humble a a student sometime where they could try to come in and think that, oh, and you're not strong enough or such like that. You know what I'm saying? They could just beat you like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, I can
Well,
imagine that.
people don't believe in the martial arts at all, especially when they hear like traditional martial arts like karate or aikido or whatever. People believe more in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and Thai boxing and stuff like that. And I come from more of a traditional background than anything, through karate jutsu and aikido jutsu and judo and things like that. So people don't believe in it. So yeah, everybody thinks that they can take me out and this and that. It is what it is. Um, I trained under some of the best in the world. Um, and I tell people that fact that I've trained under some of the best instructors in the world, and there's no way in hell that I'm gonna let these guys, the guys that approach me, take me out when I've trained under some of the best instructors in the world. You know what I mean? So
Right, right, true that. Like,
yeah.
have people ever caught you off guard and caught you with a good one, or like you was always on guard?
I'm always on guard, but I mean, you get hit. It just you get hit sometimes in altercations, but it's not the fact that you get hit. It's what you do when you get hit. You know what I'm saying? Some
Right,
people
right, right.
shut down. I don't shut down. You know,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah. That's something that I can see a lot of people who are martial artists that they have some of them have a sense of peace. You know what I'm saying, and understanding of how to disarm a situation or disengage a situation from just backing up. And you know what I mean, I'm like how do they do that? Like you know what I mean? Like, and you have multiple people always it's coming at you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
How do you disengage or disarm a situation like that?
Again, fighting's more psychological than it is physical. Every aspect of the physical is controlled by the mental. So you can, with with one's ability to execute crisply, extremely clean technique and efficient technique. If you're getting attacked by four people and you destroy one person, extremely swift technique and violent technique usually affects other people's minds. You know,
They'd be like, oh
um,
shit, I ain't fucking with him.
yeah, it happens. I've done it in jail where inmates came at me and I did some real crazy shit to just one, and everybody else shut down, backed away. And I've done it on the street, I've done it in bars, I've done it, it just shit happens.
Wow, shit. Like, all right, I got a question. Right? Have you ever heard of Have you ever heard of Ip Man?
Yep.
Oh man, like, what do you think of him?
I don't from the things I've read a lot of stuff about him. I research everything. um they say he was a phenomenal street fighter. um I he took an art that was developed by a woman and pretty much made it mainstream, you know, through his
Mm,
ability. That's big. They say he was
right.
phenomenal. He was phenomenal. I appreciate it. And the depictions that Donnie Yen has done in his movies, if that's is there if there's any hint of truth to those movies, I really respect, you know, uh, Ip Man and the Ip Man movement, the Wing Chun movement.
Mm. So being Bruce Lee, you know what I'm saying, learning all about Bruce Lee and what his art was, do you feel that Bruce Lee was the most? Do you feel that Bruce Lee is the most dominant, you know, martial artist ever, or do you think that there's more out there that could have defeated him?
I was never a Bruce Lee fan. I don't. I respect Bruce Lee had the national stage. That's what he had. As far as the skill, I don't. I'm not. I don't see anything spectacular or special or anything like that. You know, um, he was fast. He was strong. He was. I'm not impressed. You know, um, I don't think he was the greatest martial artist that ever lived, and I don't believe in that. I don't see that
Right.
at all. Let's put it this way: we all recognize that the GOAT of the NBA is Michael Jordan.
Hands down.
Okay, hands down. Okay, I met some kids from Philly that back when Mike was playing would probably give him a run for his money. Just kids from Philly that used to just play in the park. All right,
Yeah,
but they didn't have the national stage
like he did.
like he did. So they were
Mm,
just unknowns that used to play in parks, and they used to come down to Springfield every year, every summer, and play. And I used to hang with these kids. You understand what I mean? So
mm-hmm.
Bruce Lee is a guy that just had a national stage, who had opportunity that other people don't have. I know a lot of martial artists that train in their homes or in private dojos or whatever, or and who don't teach, who are phenomenal, probably 30 times better than he was. You understand what I mean? I'm
Mm,
not impressed with that. I was never impressed. I wasn't a Bruce Lee fan. And if you watch, you know how you watch a movie when you're younger and you're just like, we're kids and you're just excited to watch it. But then when you
mm-hmm.
watch it when you're older, you're like, I used to watch this when I was younger. What is this? You ever see a movie like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that. When you're younger, you're watching Bruce Lee movies, you're impressed. If you watch the same movies now, you'll be like, oh, this is horrible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed.
Like I think that because he was on a national, you know,
Stage. Yep.
stage, he is more called as a legend
Yeah.
rather than, being the best, you know what I'm saying? Now it
Yeah.
could have been people out there that's better than him, you know what I'm saying? Could have. Yeah.
Yeah. There,
It
there
probably
most
is.
definitely is.
Probably
There most
was,
definitely is. I
Probably
respect
was.
I respect his contributions to the martial arts, just like anybody else. I
Right, true that,
respect
true that, true that.
his contributions. And because he was on the national stage, his contributions are widely recognized. I respect what he's contributed to the martial arts, and because of what he contributed, he made a lot of people want to join in the martial arts. You understand? I
Hmm.
respect that, and that's as far as it goes. I'm not.
Right,
I
right.
was never impressed with him.
That's very understandable, very understandable, like okay, who are your top five martial artists that's in the game or out of the game that really was like amazing to you?
I'll go with Jackie Chan. I'll go with Rick Houghton. I'll go with Superfoot Bill Wallace.
Mm,
Noriyasu Kudo. Yep. And who else? That's pretty much it. I think the top out of those, and it's all for different reasons. Um, but the top out of those, I would go with Rick Houghton Sensei. Rick Houghton. Oh, and Eddie Bravo.
wow,
Eddie Bravo. He's a genius.
wow, like man, who are some of the like? Do you believe that Steven Seagal was really a martial artist?
Yes. Yes. Steven Seagal had a dojo, I believe, in Shinjuku, uh, Tokyo, a part of Tokyo. Um, he was the first American to open a dojo and be successful in Japan. He's
Mm,
very good at what he does. Very good at what he does in Aikido. Very good.
mm. Why does he have a bad name like he does? Why do you think he has a bad name like he does? Like,
Uh, because he's kind of eccentric.
ah,
He's, you know, he gets on movie sets and you know how people are. You know, they're, they people become famous and become weird. You know,
They allow
become
their
full of
egos to.
yeah, egos, full of themselves. Just it's just weird. And he, you know, just like any man, he loves sex. He's a weirdo. He's a sexual deviant, apparently. From what all the headlines read and things that people say about him, who knows? But as far as his art goes, he's phenomenal. Phenomenal at what he does.
You know, the five people that I've always watched: Jean Claude Van Damme,
Yep.
um, Jet Li, Bruce Lee. What's his name? What's his name? I always watched Steven Seagal movies. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was like I could name a couple of them. You know what I mean? Even when he became the fat Steven Seagal. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I've noticed that as he got older, he that hairline never faded and receded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that came to me. I'm like, that had to have been a toupee, or he had to get hair plugs.
Yeah, that's definitely some fake stuff going on up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that hairline looked very, very artificial.
Yep. Yeah. He's a mess. But as far as his skill goes, he's phenomenal.
Like, bro, like I've always watched him. He has that samurai feel to him. You know what I mean? Like, he has that martial arts type of samurai feel to him. And I noticed a lot of what he does is he does a lot of self defense type of movement and type of stuff. You know what I mean? The stage stuff that you was
Well,
talking about.
his art is Aikido, but here's the thing. Like I told you in the last interview, uh, before World War II, pre World War II, it was Aiki Jutsu. After World War II, they dropped the Jutsu and put Do at the end. It became Aikido.
Mm,
Jutsu and Aikido are separated by a philosophy, strictly.
mm,
Jutsu is more of maiming and killing the enemy. Aikido is love and harmony.
mm.
Steven Seagal being in uh, his art is Aikido, but he performs it in an Aikijutsu manner.
Right.
That's his thing.
And years ago, I was watching what's that shit called? Mm. Well, years ago, I was watching The Matrix, right? And I did not know Keanu Reeves was a martial artist. I did
Mm-hmm.
not know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow. And it's like I know this person from the Philippines, right? And he was telling me, "Oh, that stuff is fake." Steven Seagal and uh, uh, Jean Claude Van Damme, they're not real. A lot of that stuff is fake and stuff like that. I'm like, then why do you do it? And I've always wondered. I always had that feeling when it came to Asian, the Asian culture. They always had that that background of fighters, of warrior type of culture. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always admired that. Always admired that because I've always wanted to be like that. Always wanted to learn it from a childhood, not to hurt anybody, but to learn it because of just being able to defend yourself,
Mm-hmm.
not to kill anybody, but to learn how to defend yourself and learn how to stay in a calm mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In a calm state of mind and a peaceful state of mind. Instead of fighting with anger.
Yep.
Like, so. Do you feel that um, MMA fighters, right? Do you feel like
Hmm.
MMA fighters could take martial artists, any like the martial artists that are in dojos, that are in the dojos and in the karate, and all that stuff? Do you feel that MMA fighters could take any of those guys?
It depends. The majority of it depends. That's that's
So,
it's subjective in the respect of a lot of karate. If you look at the early UFCs in 1993, you had this Goju guy, this guy who took up Goju karate, step in the ring in a white gi. Is a
right,
white guy with a mustache, and he tried to fight, and he got destroyed. He didn't understand this karate.
right.
Uh,
Because I was watching that. It was a dude. He was fighting this big ass. I mean, when I say big dude, like this dude had to have been like 600 pounds, and he was beating him at first, but then all of a sudden, big dude was mauling him and dragging him. I'm like, damn.
yeah, there's it depends. There's some people. There are martial artists who truly understand their art. They're traditional martial artists who truly understand the way it was designed to be used. And then there's a lot walking around there perpetuating a fallacy. So,
Right.
yes, I know martial artists who will destroy a mixed martial artist, you know?
Uh,
Um, and then I know a lot that won't hold a candle to them, no matter what level mixed martial artist stands in front of them because they don't understand their art,
uh,
so it's subjective.
mm-hmm.
Because to make a blanket statement, I can't make the blanket statement of yes or no. It's just
Right.
subjective.
That's why I've always wondered, like, because I've always thought about it, like, you know, I see a lot of guys do a lot of the. Remember when you was telling me like there's a difference between a boxer stamina and a MMA
Mixed martial
stamina,
art. Yeah, yeah.
and that's what I was thinking. Like MMA stamina and martial arts stamina is totally different.
It
Just like you
is.
was telling me.
And the focus is different. Meaning, if somebody trains in traditional karate, but it's like more for sport, they're gonna have good cardio because you need cardio for sport.
Hell yeah.
You don't need cardio for street fighting
Right.
because
Right.
you're not gonna do rounds in the street. You're gonna end it as quick as possible.
Right. True that.
You're
True
gonna
that.
that's your goal. So your techniques and things and application of them are going to be different than if you're running a marathon type fight. You understand? So
Hmm.
it everything's subjective. And if you get a traditional martial artist who's not equipped to do rounds and he says he'll get in the ring with a MMA fighter and do rounds, it's a failed mission because he's not equipped to do rounds. His technique is not designed, is not backed by rounds by cardio. You see what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
um
That's like Kimball Slice. You know what I mean? He was a
yeah,
street fighter. He was a
yeah.
street fighter, and when he got into MMA, whoo,
He
he
got
won a couple fights.
yeah, but he got smoked after a while.
Yeah.
He just started getting smoked because it was a different dynamic. Um
Wow.
I so that's why I come from a time where it wasn't, hey, let's get in the ring and let's just box. It wasn't like that. It was, you do what you do, I do what I do, and let's see what happens. you
Mhm.
know like I
Mhm.
told you, Hitman Tommy Hearns fought Superfoot Bill Wallace. Superfoot Bill Wallace got in the ring and kickboxed. Hitman Tommy Hearns got in the ring and boxed. They fought each other doing their respective arts, and Superfoot Bill Wallace knocked Hitman Tommy Hearns out with a hook kick to his head. You see what I mean?
You know,
It
shit.
wasn't that Hitman said, "All right, I'll fight you, but all we can do is box." It wasn't like that. It was you do what you do, I do what I do. So if a mixed martial artist, like I've been challenged by mixed martial artists, they've come to my school and they were like, "Listen, no, listen, you do what you do, I do what I do. Let's just see what happens." And that's what happened. They did what they did, I did what I did, and it hasn't turned out well for anybody yet.
Wow. Damn. That's why I'm like, how can you be so to try out your skills amongst the best that have done it? Like, at least respect them enough to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I respect you because of what you did. You know what I mean? At least learn from the person, not try to fight them. You know what I mean? Like,
The martial arts is an ego-driven world, So everybody wants to prove that they're the best at what they do, So it'll always be an ego-driven world. Even if you do show something that's pretty sound or competent, people doubt it. People will give it a side eye and be like, "Please look at this." I mean, just
mm,
look. Go on any YouTube channel, and you can go on my YouTube channel. I upload a video, I get great comments, and I get some horrendous comments where people are just, talking shit about my content. It is what it is. So all I put in their comments, every once in a while, I usually ignore the comments, but every once in a while I get irritated and I say, well, this is my address. Come on over. Let's see if what I do works or not. But nobody shows up.
yeah. Most of the time, you're dealing with keyboard gangsters.
Yeah,
You ain't
yeah.
really dealing with people that really are skilled in what they do. A lot of them, like a lot of them in person, would be scared as fuck to talk to you or face you. But on the computer, they could be anybody they want. And I
Anybody.
had to deal with that. Any fucking body. Like they could be any fucking body they want. They could be Jean Claude Van Damme. They could be Bruce Lee. It could be anybody.
Yeah,
And all this crap. But then in person is a lot different than what they think. You know, they get knocked out first
yeah,
hit. You know.
exactly. And that's the thing. So and it's not reserved just for me. People, I Steven Seagal gets a lot of hate fucking messages, and John Claude Van Damme, and I'm sure Michael Jai White gets crazy messages, you know. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody, it's not everybody. They're people. Keyboard warriors are everywhere, and they're
Hmm.
attacking everybody. Trolls are
Hell yeah.
everywhere. So
Hell yeah. Like that's why it's like that's why I try to keep my peace, keep the peace, stay grounded, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that emotional side and you got your you know what I mean? You try to keep that together. And that's why I want to learn it. I want to learn all the stuff that I want to learn. I want to learn mixed martial arts and martial arts because I want to master the my emotions, master all of that stuff. And I'm gonna admit, shit, I'm not perfect. Shit, I ain't perfect at all. I'm gonna admit that, but I want to learn all that stuff because I want to be able to become better and better than what I am. You know what I mean? That's how I feel, at least. You know what I mean? Like it's something to really look into because you never know. You could be help. You never know. Could be somebody that come along and you can help them become better. So say like for example, okay, if their mother is getting beat up by their stepdad, or and you have to someday you have to get the stepdad off your mother, but you don't know how to restrain that person
mhm.
to doing that. You know what I mean? And you want to learn how to restrain that person from doing that or kick their ass. You're gonna have to learn some type of technique to restrain them from. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or say like if a child is getting bullied, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to learn how to defend himself.
Yep.
So that's why I say it's like it's something to really look into. You know what I'm saying? Really try. Even if you may feel like it's not for you, keep trying because you never know.
I think everybody in this world should train. It's just like in Japan. It's part of their elementary curriculum, their schooling. You know, that's how it should be here too. You know.
Hell yeah, because you just never know. You know what I'm saying? If a lot of kids were getting the curriculum of learning how to fight and learning how to defend themselves, do you really think a lot of school killings would be happening right about now? No,
Nope. It'll be totally different.
way different.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids wouldn't be. And that's why I say nowadays a lot of these kids are not being taught the right curriculums to when they get out of these schools, they're not really retaining it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
going in one ear and out the other. And
Yep.
that's why they hate it because it's not helping them none. That's why I say it's better to learn something that you can benefit from and build from. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's why I yes, I would love to learn martial arts and mixed martial arts. Ah, shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard some people telling me that it's always good to learn martial arts or mixed martial arts at a young age and build from there because you can do all the stretching and do all the other stuff. But is that true?
Everything everything's good at a young age. I mean, the sooner the better. But there's no saying that there's no real age to it. You could do some great things at this age.
Just have to try.
Yeah, you know.
That's what I think. I think that people should give it a try. Give it a chance to see what they can do because you never know what can happen.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You never know what can happen. You could become a great fighter and might want to do a pro and see what happened. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It may be something that God has put in you to be. You never know. But you know, I saw that movie. I think it was Into the Dragon where Bruce Lee was fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yep.
Like, is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar do martial arts or that was just the effects?
No, he did. He was one of Bruce Lee's students.
Oh wow! Whoa! Damn! That's so he do know how to do that.
Yep.
Oh wow! That's amazing. You know what I mean? Hey, shit! A big guy like that. Just imagine him throwing your ass.
Yeah.
Ooh! And
Yeah.
you high up from there. Oh man!
Yeah. He was
No
one of
wonder.
Bruce Lee.
And he translated that stuff into that technique into basketball, and that's amazing. That's amazing to
Yeah.
me, and no wonder he was so good. No wonder people couldn't stop the sky hook. Man, that's
Yeah. He was very good at what he did.
that's amazing, man. But you know, I this is a part of the show where I give you 60 seconds to let the people know what where they could find you and to give the people advice that's coming into what you learned at a young age and what you're learning now and what you have accomplished. What kind of advice would you give those people?
Well, first you can find me at YouTube at UTV96. And the main thing, always be true to yourself. That's what I learned. Be true to yourself. Don't compromise your beliefs for anybody or anything. Stay true to you. Be able to look yourself in the mirror. Um, That's that's what guides my life.
Well, for y'all that is watching, for y'all that's watching, for all that is, watching the show that has been, walking with me this whole journey, I have an announcement to make. I'm on the way to making the Jarhead pilot. So I'm working on, putting it together. If you've seen the preview video, I'm working on bringing that into a live action trailer so that way I can put together the series or the movie, turn it into a movie. And I would like for, if you would like to buy the book to book one, let me know. It's a very great story. You've heard me speak about Jarhead. You have the chance to really get deep down into the story with me and to walk the journey with me in putting together Jarhead. And it's something to really look into. And I promise you, once you get done with book one and book two, you're going to be amazed because I promise you, this is the time. And I'm telling you, I got something up my sleeve that's going to blow your motherfucking mind. So keep on rocking with me for the with this movement. I got some great things coming down the plank, and if y'all are with me, y'all with me. I got some very good surprises and some very good um, content and um, other stuff. So also please like and subscribe to the channel. It would be very appreciated. And hit that notification bell to get all that is the in your face show. And we out. Peace.